And
yeah.
What's crazy is you actually touched on the next question that I was going to ask you, which was like, how do you deal with rejection, not settling, and staying busy when you're single, but also staying busy when you're in a relationship. But you talked about dealing with rejection, and I always remember that story that you tell me about just not settling, asking the guy like, where you at? I like you, not being afraid to put yourself out there, be like, hey, this is how I feel, and just being okay if the person doesn't feel the same way, which takes confidence.
Yeah.
You know, all of that, it didn't sound like you were being rude. It sounded like you're being confident. You know what it is that you're looking for, and you didn't settle into something that you know was not it.
Yeah, and I think through my experience in dating, I learned, not everyone has the same. I know some Christians are very much about courtship. Obviously, that wasn't like, I dated, dated, and for me, I like that experience because for me personally, I learned how to be confident in my voice, confident in my needs, confident in the pace that I wanted to take a relationship in. Some people are very comfortable taking a long time talking to the same person without like a definition. And
you can see how things go with your mother.
Yeah, and others like moving really fast, So for me, I think there was points where I was just like, you know what? Like, I think I've talked to you enough and gotten to know you enough that I want to know at this point where you stand with me, And sometimes guys were like, what do you mean? Like, I guess they didn't expect that question, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be just lingering around, So for me, asking those questions, honestly, I don't know if I want to say a lot of men and women, maybe, I don't know, but in my experience, a lot of men were surprised to hear me kind of speak that way, and I think we're in an age where a lot of women are afraid to ask for what they need.
Yeah, ask for some level of commitment, ask for clarity, because it's like you're not doing yourself any favors by just letting things go on undefined. Even if you don't want something serious, define that as well. We both don't want something serious.
Exactly.
Like there's no harm in, because you would not get on a boat and the captain didn't know where you guys were going. You wouldn't get in a car and just drive around for hours and not know where it is that you're going. Why would you want to link yourself up with somebody relationally to do life with them, and you don't know where it is that you guys are heading? You don't know how long it's going to take to get there. Like, why? Don't be afraid to ask for some level of direction as a man, and as if you are or even men when you're dealing with women, because there are also some women who aren't looking for something serious, who aren't ready to settle down.
That.
Yeah, we don't promote that, but it's like I know that there's men that listen to my YouTube channel as well, and all this can apply for you guys too. Don't feel like you're being thirsty if you want to tell a girl, like, look, I'm looking to get married. I'm looking for somebody who can be my wife.
And let me tell you, that is so attractive.
And it's attractive.
To a good woman?
To a good woman.
That's like, ooh, Jesus.
I was like, oh, wait, he's serious. But of course, if a woman is not looking for that, it may push her away, but you're not pushing away the right one if they're not somebody who's into that, So
exactly.
Don't be afraid.
And I think the key word for women that I want to encourage is like as Mal used it, clarity. Don't be afraid to want clarity.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately a lot of men or players, whatever you want to call it, they really capitalize off of like our inability to want to clarify because we're scared that they're gonna run away. Who cares if you run away? If he can handle clarity, especially when it's done, I'm saying do it in love and in kindness.
Yeah, don't be weird.
You don't have to be like, and where do we stand?
Yeah, after 2 weeks of like talking. No, but
exactly. You could do it in a loving, mature way and just be like, hey, I really, think you're a great guy. These are the things I like about you. And we've been talking for this amount of time. I kind of want to know, like, just where are you at? Are you into me? Too, and you could put yourself out there and say, I'm into you so far.
You, yeah.
But I'm also okay with letting it go if you're not there or just reapproaching the situation, and that's a way of you just honestly protecting your heart and like knowing where someone stands. You deserve that if you're investing time into them, so don't feel bad or guilty or like you're being needy when you're asking for clarification, when you're investing your time and energy into a person. Your time is valuable, and not anyone just should be getting all your time and attention and then not defining anything or clarifying anything for you.
Yeah.
So I think along with the question that she said, what was it?
Well, it was like, how did you deal with rejection, not settling, and staying? I was going to do the staying busy part, but that's okay because we're running out of time. And there's one more question that I wanted to ask you to wrap things up. And that was, how did you heal from past hurts to now be in a healthy relationship? You know, a lot of people feel like, well, I was broken before, I've been hurt, and now I have trust issues. But to know that you can come back from that and that you can have a loving, healthy relationships. And so I want to know how you were able to do that.
Yeah, I think for me, you know, before meeting Daggy, God had done a lot of like inner work in me, you know. Looking back to even when I was a teenager, I was very like very low self-esteem, did not know how to communicate my needs, was not confident at all. I was that girl that like was too scared to be honest with you because you would leave me, you know, that was me. And God has brought me so far, you know, really so far. I think, honestly, just the main thing is just like me being willing to go where God wants me to take me in terms of that inner work and that character work that I needed to do. You know, there were several situations where God, like whether it be with men or just with people, asking me to stop being a people pleaser, asking me to have healthy boundaries with people in general. You know, that is part of, you know, being godly, you know, having healthy boundaries with others, knowing how to communicate your needs in a way that's healthy. Unfortunately, that's a problem among many women. And I think those experiences really taught me how to then prepare for a relationship. And even when I met Daggy, I told him, I was very honest with him. I told him, you know, I struggle with sometimes communicating my needs and it makes me feel very vulnerable. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Like I've grown a lot, but you know, it's just something that sometimes I might struggle and maybe not necessarily say what I need to say right away. But I'm working on it. I've grown a lot, you know. So I also kind of prepared him for the areas that when I met him, I knew I was still working in, so that he can help me if he wanted to, you know, continue in a relationship with me. Help me be part of like growing in that area, and he definitely has. So yeah, I think the main thing is just like, you know, pursue God with everything you have, and don't be afraid to kind of write down maybe even just write down your patterns with God, your family patterns of relationships. What do you truly believe about relationships, and asking God to give you verses to kind of speak truth into the lies that you're operating from. And we all have them, whether it's like, you know, we're scared that someone's gonna leave,
abandonment, or just the lie of I'm not good enough. You know, like I can be doing so well by myself, but I have found in my life when I start trying to be in a relationship, the enemy always tells me that I'm not good enough. You know, this person's doing so much better than I am. I don't have anything to offer them. And knowing that those are lies, because God's not talking to me like that. And I know deep down I don't feel that way about myself. So when you talk about not operating in lies, I think that's definitely true. And getting alone with God so that he can process you. And my favorite thing that you said in healing in order to get into a healthy relationship is boundaries. God has been teaching me a lot about boundaries and the power of the word no, and being able to speak up for myself. And as I'm single right now, those are currently things God's working on in my life. And yeah, it's great. It's been great. It's been hard and hurtful, but it's been healing at the same time.
Yeah, because it's hard to work through those. If I can't imagine working through some of the deep things God kind of healed me in while I'm in a relationship with it.
Yeah,
we both talked about it, and like Daggy, like the kind of person that he's a mature guy. You know, I really love him and respect him. And he's also a lot less emotional than I am. He's very logical, you know, so the crazy me dealing with all the emotions that I was working through, of grief and all that, and God teaching me how to work with that, like going through that with him, I think it would have been too much for us, so I think God brought us together at the right time when he had worked in the areas that I needed to even just communicate effectively with him. because he likes very direct. He's like, don't beat around the bush, like just tell me like it is. And that's been like just really crucial to the strengthening of our relationship. And if I wasn't in a place to be able to do that well enough, I think we would really be struggling in our relationship, you know, if I'm not able to communicate my needs, being honest and being direct about what I expect from him and how I need him to improve, or how I need to improve, whatever, you know. So yeah. And even in terms of dating, you know, I'm engaged right now, but I'm still trying to, like, you know, stay busy. And
you went to the movies by yourself. She has a whole fiance, and she still went to the movies by herself. I'm like, what person does this? It's so cool.
Yeah, you know, still trying to have like moments with God, and like have you know, me time, and Daggy having the same, you know, just like not allowing ourselves to become like the center of our world, you know.
That's really good.
You know, first and foremost, of course, is Christ, and just maintaining healthy relationships with other people. I think it's good for your relationship. But yeah, I think pretty much there was something I was gonna say about the last question, but
well, which one was the last question?
Which one was the last one you asked me?
It was it was, how did you heal from past hurts to now be in a healthy relationship? But then we're also talking about how you dealt with like rejection, settling, staying busy while single, and then also staying busy now that you're in a relationship. And we already answered these two in the beginning.
Oh, okay. I think that's what I was gonna. I already kind of touched on it. Just you know, definitely stay busy. Continue, even when you're in a relationship, you need to continue to understand who you are in Christ. I know for me, being in a relationship, God is also teaching us, like, you know, we're not married yet, but like I feel like right now God is giving us vision to what our kingdom vision would be as a couple, you know, and that would be like our identity as a married couple one day, like, you know, what we would stand for and our values, but we also have, you know, our own, you know, identities. We're individuals, and I think continuing to allow God to pour into you and bring revelation into like who you are as an individual, and love you in the areas that your partner just, you know, there's areas that no matter how hard Daggy tries, he's not equipped to love me or feel the way that God does, you know. So, you know, realizing that, like, even when you meet someone that you want to marry, they're not going to satisfy every need of your life, and they're not God. You know, they're not going to be able to meet your needs to the extent that God does, and we need to be able to spend time with him and allow him to love us in every facet of ourselves that like no other human being can, you know.
And thank you for touching on that, because once you do get a man, once you do get a woman, it can be so easy to feel like, oh, I've arrived, all my hard work is done, all my Christian, you know, loving Jesus, everything has paid off, now I don't have anything else to do. But it's like now, like, a new set of challenges arises, a new level of intimacy, a new level of, you know, getting closer to God evolves. So it's not a place where you're like, whew, okay, now I can relax. No, now you get to know God in a different way. Now you're getting to know another person and yourself in a different way, and not allowing yourself to be completely consumed by this person that they now become your God, you know, and then all of a sudden they're an idol, and then all of a sudden now God has to take the relationship away because now you're putting the relationship before God, because you can do all this hard work, get a Christian man, and then you guys can get together and just mess it up, you know. So you still need to do the work of having your own individual relationships with yourself and your own individual relationships with God, and then having your relationship together. And I think you and Daggy do that very well, you know. And again, always like re-strategizing, like, okay, in this area I feel like maybe I may have you as an idol here, I'm gonna work it out. Maybe in this area I may be leaning on you a little bit much when I could be leaning on Jesus. And you know, just always doing work. A relationship is work.
It really is.
Yeah.
You're really, if you haven't learned like the basics of just like kindness, love, forgiveness, like you're gonna really have a hard time in a relationship and building. You know, we have these fairy tales ideas about what love is, but even all those like really nice feelings, you won't experience them in the fullness if you haven't mastered the basics of just patience, kindness, respect, you know, how to talk to one another when you're having a hard time, you know, those character things or virtues or fruits of the spirit are gonna, you know, God is gonna put you through trials where you're really gonna see what you're made of.
Yeah.
And you're seeing your partner what you're made of, and if you haven't built that, you're gonna not experience, you know, the fullness of what you can in the context of a partnership, of a girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, whatever, or even leading towards marriage, you know. So build those like core like fruits of the spirit, you know, core values of just love, which you could look at Corinthians. Love is patient, kind, all those
If you're looking for what love is, go to the word. And one last thing where God is really just leaning into me as I'm being single is just teaching me how to be content. If you're not content when you're single, you're not going to be content when you're married, when you're engaged, when you're in a relationship, because it's a matter of the heart. You know, God's like, okay, what are you waiting to do for? I mean, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for a boyfriend? What are you waiting to be in a relationship to do? Like, oh, when I get a boyfriend, him and I are gonna go to the gun range. When I get a boyfriend, me and him. And God's like, no, go do that now. You know, don't put your life on hold waiting for somebody. Like, if you can't enjoy being single, you're not gonna enjoy being in a relationship, because you're gonna put too much pressure on that person to make you happy. And I'm at a point now where I'm very content with being single. You know, I love my own company. I think I'm funny. I think I'm fun. Like, I'm not in a rush to get out of my own company. And I couldn't always say that. You know, I always had to keep me a man. Somebody texting me, good morning, beautiful, this and that. But that's been a process. God has had to show me that I deal with codependency and can feel lonely a lot of times and have a void that only God can fill. And once you know that, you know where your voids are and work on those, and work on being content, and know that you heard me say work a lot, right? It's work. It's work when you're single, and then it's going to be work when you're in a relationship. But just knowing each time, as long as God's in that process, you're going to be okay. Is there any other thing that you wanted to add? I'm going to make this into 2 videos because it's long, but it's so good.
Yeah. No, I think, well, actually, yes. Like as Mal said, being content when you're single is so crucial. Like being okay with being alone, you know, alone with God.
Yeah.
But even when it, like, again, it goes into like, even when you're in a relationship, there's gonna be moments where like your partner does not feel the need. Then sometimes you're gonna think, oh, like I thought I was gonna be like happy, or
we're gonna be together every day, all the time.
Yeah. You know, they're gonna fulfill certain parts, or who knows, you know. But only Jesus can really fulfill you. You know, Daggy, as much as, you know, I respect him and love him, and he's a good man, you know, he's not perfect, and he can't read my mind. And there's literally like just moments and times where like literally God allows, I think God just allows me to see, you know, the imperfection of Daggy, and God allows him to see my imperfections too. And God comes in and just loves me exactly the way I need to be loved, and strengthens me. And then we come back together, and God empowers us to love one another well, you know. But it's, you know, Jesus is so crucial. You know, just learn how to like be happy with God. You know, because no one is ever gonna fulfill you. You know. But yeah.
So yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thank you, Val, for coming. Our good sis was here, dropping facts and knowledge. I love you so much, and I'm so happy for you. Congratulations to you.
Love.
You're welcome. Congratulations to you.
Dude, this
and
girl
your
missed it, by the way.
I did. I came like a minute after the whole thing happened. I was like, what? What happened? She's like, I'm engaged. I'm like, Jesus told me. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, Jesus told me she was going to get engaged the day before she got engaged. And I'm like, well, I can't tell her. Whatever. But we'll be here for another 10 minutes if I tell that story, and I'm not going to do that. But guys, thank you again. Yeah, I thank you guys too. And just don't give up. Have faith. Work on yourself. Get closer to Jesus. And in due season, this is what God has been telling me. Do not be...
Sorry.
Ashley breaks the table. Nah, I'm kidding. This is what Jesus has been telling me. Do not be wearying in... Do not be weary in... This is important. Do not be weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. And that's what I've been holding on to. And it's really been encouraging to me. And I've been hearing it all over and over again. Don't be weary in wanting to live for God. And you may see all your friends who aren't paying God any mind at all get engaged. They're in relationships. They doing life their way. And you're like, dang, I'm over here. I'm doing the right thing. And I'm as single as a dollar bill. Don't get weary in doing that. Because no matter how long it takes, you're sowing. And in due season, you will reap. You will reap your harvest. And it's so good to now have seen she did not get weary in her well-doing, and Val has reaped. Amen. So thank you guys. I love you, and I'll see you guys next time. By the way, I got 200 subscribers, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. You come to hear us talk about stuff. Like, it makes me so happy. But thank you guys. I appreciate and love every single one of y'all. And I pray that you guys will have a good week. Bye.